What is up, everybody? I hope you guys had a fantastic Thanksgiving, had a lot of good food, fun time with family and friends, etc., etc. We got some basketball to talk about, and I want to touch on the Milwaukee Bucks for a second, but not for the reason you might think. I'll probably talk about Giannis at some point during the season because, we got quarter season MVP rankings that I want to get off, but I want to talk about a different Milwaukee Buck who is crucial to the Bucks' defensive identity and somebody who is having a career year in terms of just his career in Milwaukee. Maybe not scoring wise, but definitely probably his most complete season of his career is Brook Lopez. And that's saying a lot because Brook Lopez has been a defensive stalwart for Milwaukee ever since he came to Milwaukee, ever since Mike Budenholzer took over as head coach back in 2018-19. Brook Lopez has had, it's been documented, it's been talked about a bunch, but Brook Lopez, I've never seen a transformation mid-career from a player quite like Brook Lopez is. A low post scorer, really wasn't a great defender when he was in Brooklyn, and then he morphed into this giant 7-foot 3-and-D center. But, obviously when we think of 3-and-D players, we think of wings who shoot the three a lot and defend the perimeter. But Brook Lopez, he shoots the three at a very high clip, and he's shooting the lights out so far this year. And now he's probably playing the best defense since his first season in Milwaukee. And I don't know who did his back surgery, because remember last year he played the first game of last season, then had back surgery and was basically out until the last 12 games of the season. I don't know who did his back surgery, but you, me, and everybody else who's had back issues at some point in their life should probably hit up Brook Lopez's doctor, because he looks better than ever. And better than ever at any point in his career in Milwaukee, and he's already been really damn good for the Bucks, one of the most instrumental players in Bucks franchise history. But now he's just having a career year. We'll just read the base raw stat lines first. He's averaging nearly 16 points a game, nearly 6 rebounds a game, and that number seems low, and Brook Lopez has always been someone who you would want more rebounding out of going back to his career in Brooklyn. But what's really underrated about him is he's just a box out artist. He's kind of like Steven Adams in that sense, where he's so good at boxing out that everybody else can get the rebound. He boxes sometimes 2 people, 3 people out at once, and that's how crucial he is to Milwaukee. He's really good at boxing out, and Giannis, Drew, even Chris Middleton, when he's healthy, they come in and crash the boards while Brook Lopez is warding off like 3 dudes. Brook Lopez's offensive rebounding this season is a career high in terms of his career in Milwaukee. And also, more importantly, he's shooting 51% from the field and 41% from three-point range on 5.9 attempts per game. The Milwaukee Bucks have the best defensive rating in the NBA per cleaning the glass, and is basically by 1.7 points per 100 possessions. The Bucks have been lapping the field so far this year in defensive rating. And yes, Giannis is one of the best two-way players of all time, one of the most special defenders of all time, one of the best help defenders of all time. But Milwaukee fans will tell you, and you can see it on the film and when you watch them, Brook Lopez is a master in drop coverage. I feel like he's even been better this year, which is really crazy to say. He's just really good at playing 1-on-2 defense, playing the ball handler when he's coming off of that screen and then dropping back and breaking up something at the rim, whether it's a block shot as the ball handler drops it off to the center, or if they are trying to do an alley-oop. Brook Lopez is really good at contesting that. He's also, speaking as a Sixer fan, he's also Milwaukee has 2 of the few defenders in the NBA that can guard Joel Embiid credibly one-on-one, and Brook Lopez in the first 2 matchups until the fourth quarter of the second game has really done a good job defending Joel Embiid. But Brook Lopez so far this year is averaging a career high 2.9 blocks per game, which is leading the NBA. beating out Miles Turner, some of the top shot blockers like Anthony Davis. Brook Lopez has just been spectacular on the defensive end this year. Even his metrics, the nerdy metrics like defensive win shares, defensive box plus minus, block percentage, those are all up. Those are all career highs in terms of his Milwaukee career. Whenever opponents challenge Brook Lopez by shooting less than 6 feet away from the basket, they are only shooting 50%, and Brook Lopez is defending almost 8 field goals a game. This is per NBA.com. And when opponents shoot against anybody else, they usually shoot 63% against the Bucks. He's also been a big driving force in the Bucks' new revamped style of defense. Now you're thinking the Bucks have been an elite defensive team under Mike Budenholzer since he took over in Milwaukee. Why would they change up the philosophy? Well, Mike Budenholzer's usual philosophy, as Milwaukee fans, Atlanta Hawks fans will tell you, it's usually give up a lot of threes and contest everything at the rim, don't foul, etc., etc. Well, this year, especially, and it's been talked about before, but the series against the Celtics, they gave up an ungodly amount of three-pointers. Now, it's we're going to take away not only shots at the rim, we're going to take away three-pointers too. And the Bucks have still been this dominant. If you look up numbers on cleaning the glass, and I'll put the numbers up on the screen for you, in terms of shot frequency, the Bucks allow the 7th least amount of three-pointers in the NBA, and it's really the corner threes, which are obviously the shortest three-pointer in basketball in terms of distance, and the Bucks are just taking that away. They allow the fewest amount of corner threes in the NBA. Opponents are taking only 28.7% of their shots at the rim against the Milwaukee Bucks, and opponents are only shooting 63.5% at the rim, which is the 8th lowest percentage in the NBA. They're still allowing a lot of mid-range shots, which is by design, but even still, opponents are only shooting the 7th lowest percentage in the NBA against the Milwaukee Bucks. Just look at the defensive comparison in terms of the shots they allow over the last few years. The Bucks usually were one of the highest teams in the NBA in terms of allowing the amount of three-pointers that they allowed defensively while taking away the rim. Now they're doing both, and their defense is still elite, and it's just harder to crack the code of the Milwaukee Bucks defense. They still have Drew Holiday. Javon Carter has been good for the Bucks as well. Chris Middleton will need to get healthy, obviously, to get back in the mix, but the Bucks still have their formula. They've tweaked it, and at the same time, one of the driving forces behind their defense in this Mike Budenholzer Giannis era is playing the best basketball of his career and is my frontrunner for Defensive Player of the Year.